All right, so this is a 1973 Travco 270. This is 2 years. Over 2 years ago, I was in just this spot, filming after we had bought it. And if you haven't seen that video, and it's on channel, I'll link it right here. So I can go watch that, what the original condition of this was. So I'm not going to do too much in depth on like was, but I'm just going to show you everything that we've changed over the course of the last 2 years. This is the nearly complete, everything but small details done version of this Travco. So it's been a lot of work. So let's get into it. All right, I'm gonna walk around the exterior and just show the things that I've added. Backup cameras on the right and the left, and then fixed this, added this. There used to be a furnace outlet here, so we have a 120 outlet there. Not much, looks like it's changed. This I still need to fix. This is a fiberglass patch. This used to be the gravity for the freshwater tank. I'll do a quick kind of work around here. So there's the backup camera right there. You can see it. This side, not too much is different. There are new outlets for the tanks. I'll show those in a second. But really not too much on the exterior that you really notice that's different if you watch the first video. This and then this I still need to patch or sand down and fix the paint, but it was the antenna for the radio. Up on top, you'll notice there's some solar panels. In the original video, there was a carrier, like a cargo carrier, and then an antenna with a Coleman air conditioner on top. So let's take a brief look up here and see what's different on the roof. These are 350 watt panels, bifacial. These are residential panels, so about 1250 watts of solar on the roof. Max fan number 1, max fan number 2. And then we kept this. The vent stacks were removed and patched, smoothed over, so you can still see the patch job right here. This used to be a vent stack. That was fixed. I added the solar rack using conduit and brackets. I'm not going to get too far up there because it is a pain with one hand on the camera. But there's the solar panels. Resealed the middle band there underneath the solar panels, so I resealed that with tape, and that's not all that interesting. But anyway, the solar panels are pretty interesting. And they're pretty big, but they give us a lot of power. All right, one other thing we've done on the exterior here is this is the generator bay. See this venting? That wasn't there when we got it. And just like I said it would, there is a mini split air conditioner in here. So we went with the Mr. Cool. When I first got it, I thought Mr. Cool has pre-charged lines. I wasn't gonna deal with the whole vacuum line. Since learning a lot I've learned, I probably could have gone with a normal unit and saved a couple $100, but this does a great job. It's the only expense was that these lines were pre-charged and they were cooled back over here. Now, before you say this is not enough ventilation for this unit, you're right. We have one radiator fan here. I'm gonna build a shroud that shows a little bit closer here, and then I'll probably put another radiator fan right here. And then this is a temperature switch that turns it on when it gets above a certain threshold. It's only in Celsius, but it was cheap, so it works really well. I gotta waterproof it, but don't judge me for anything that is half finished. This is just a lot of things to get it on the road. Oh, one other thing. So the flooring here, I got horse trailer flooring here, and then there's some wood. What I eventually plan on doing is removing all of the flooring and then putting in expanded steel sheet, so the whole floor is a ventilation room so that we have even more airflow. But it works well. It's just, it works a lot better when this is open and the manufacturer says this is like a big no, but hey, it works and I've had no complaints. Who knows about the longevity of the unit, but it seems to do a really good job. If it breaks, that's on me. But one other thing I thought to do would be to, a lot of people who have put these in, mount them to the rear bumper right there, but I didn't want to replace my tire or my ladder. So that's why I put it in there. All right. Carrying around. Okay, this is another thing that's interesting. So this is the outlet for the condensation for the AC unit. And there's a new black water tank. And there's my outlets and my clean out, shielding. So that's a new 42-gallon black water tank. Had to find one that curved around the leaf springs there, but that's a lot of capacity. And then another thing that we did, climbing under here, there is we put in airbags, so that'll help with the rear. I'm gonna replace the shocks as well. Just haven't gotten to it. And then there's a new exhaust that we put on because of the rusting out. And then we had a fuel injection, but I'll show that in a second. All right, let's go inside. Plan on getting a new step, but all right, so this is where the part of the video that was the same as before, if you've seen it. I don't care if you have or if you haven't, but if you want to watch it, again, it's a long video, but this is everything, and from here on out, it's going to look to everything. So, new stairs, new flooring, no shag. And let's go inside. All right, start at the front. I'll just do, here, let me try to, there's a before picture. That's what it used to look like. And now here's what it looks like now. There's a lot. This is taped down because it slides when I drive, and we haven't fixed that yet. Here's the backup camera monitor. Here is the EFI cluster. Let me turn that on so you can see what that looks like. Sniper EFI. Massive improvement on everything, just everything. This thing, I don't have to worry about any kind of cold starts or anything. It does a great job. So really massive improvement there. I'm not going to start it up now. New seat belts. We use this. This is like flooring from Home Depot. It was really easy to work with. The only tricky part was getting it to work with the curves of this doghouse. But original glove box is still in there. And then, yeah, everything's very similar to what it was. That's original. This is all of this is original. This is the original seats. We just got rid of the shag and put in, yeah, this is a vinyl flooring that we got from Lowe's, I think. I think it looks great, and it was easy to put in. So let's turn around. My mother-in-law helped us refinish these booths. We went with vinyl. I think we got it at Joann or Hobby Lobby. I don't know. We went with vinyl because we've got kids, and ketchup and mustard wipe right off. So grubby hands, make that work. And then here's the carpet on the floor. The floor is the booths. These are actually the original booths. I just recovered them, and then I reinforced them a bit so they weren't so rickety. But I didn't want to rebuild those. Original table, we're gonna put a new sheet of veneer on top of that, but for now it works fine. That cabinet is the original one. We sanded it down, painted it, put in the spray paint on the handles, all that kind of stuff. All new walls and new ceiling. We use a very thin material we found at Lowe's. It's like a thin tongue and groove ceiling. And honestly, it was awful and I don't like it. So we found a different solution. This works for now. We may never change it. We may change it, but I found another solution that will probably go from here all the way over. This was a real pain. Don't use this material. It cracked. This is why I can't stand it. It was like really impossible to get in the grooves, but it looks fine. It looks okay. I wish it went to the edge and all that kind of stuff, but this I think was wrong. I think we did this wrong, and we have a better way of doing it. But for now, it's totally functional, and I think it looks fine. So there we go. This is the mini split unit. Got the power off right now. Let's turn off this fan so we don't hear that in the background. But mini split unit mounted above the door. This is a great location. Here's the cabinet behind it. Let me try to show a little bit of some wiring going on here. And then here's the remote control for it. And then we've got our DC lighting. And then these are Ikea countertops. And then these are Ikea cabinets. They're Ikea drawers. I built all of the cabinets in here because for each Ikea cabinet, they were, again, with the pandemic, they were out of stock. The drawers were in stock, the cabinets were out of stock, so I was like, okay, I have to build them, and by doing that, I saved myself 3 inches front to back because I made them work with the walls. So anyway, these IKEA cabinets open up all the way back, which is a lot of space. What camper has that kind of space? These are the drawer stops we're using for keeping them tight while we're on the road. I need to double them up because these are still sliding open a little bit, so I'm going to put another one over there on every drawer. Those are pretty nice. And then we've got our little bathroom sink here. Nice little bowl. Still haven't built the enclosure for this mini split line, but it will go right up here, and we'll have a little place for toothbrushes and toothpaste, and then we still need to add the backsplash here for the water. But yeah, that works great. And then here's our little mirror. It's like a little YouTuber's mirror ring light. So it works pretty nice. And I've got a piece of Velcro back there. And then we did this wallpaper. I don't remember where we got it from. My wife found it, but I think it looks great. We did a lot of matching. This is, I don't remember the color, but this is from Ikea, so we didn't paint any of these. They came with that, and it just happened to be like a perfect match to this wallpaper, which is awesome. Yeah, the walls, we used Holley wall, I think is the name of the material. It's not P. Holley wall is a little bit more flexible, and that's why this is happening. It's because it's so flexible, it just pops right out of this thing here, and I have no way of getting it to stay in. It's just really frustrating. The poly wall was nice for the curve, but I had to back it with some wood. Some wood, really thin, I think it was like 1/8 inch wood backing, and glued it together to give it rigidity for the walls so that we'd have something to attach it to. And this is some of the leftover wood that we used around it because I cut those wrong. But anyway, they look fine. And let's keep moving back. All right, here's the bathroom. Can't turn on lights because we're not on power right now. It's a Dometic. It's basically a residential toilet. It's huge. It's awesome. That feels like a house. We put the tub here. Okay, so in the original video, the bathroom was back there, right? So those walls, there was the bathroom. And we moved it to the front because with the previous configuration, we wouldn't have been able to have our own space to sleep. We would have slept on the two sides. There was a bunk over here and a couch, and a bunk over there and a couch. And so by moving it to rear bathroom, we were able to get that space. And if we had bought the rear bedroom configuration of the Travco, we wouldn't have had to do nearly as much work reconfiguring it, but we had it and we realized it. That's why we moved it up here, and then we had to move the black water tank underneath here, so it was back there, and this was a huge change. Moving the bathroom. That caused so many issues on and on down the road for moving this, because that changed the whole piping, the plumbing, the configuration. Fortunately, all my plumbing is on this wall, so I only have to have plumbing going along here. There's none over here. But yeah, everything had to be based around where this bathroom went. But in the end, it turned out pretty well. It's a small shower for sure. But the tub is for the kids, and the shower, I took a shower in every other day, and it wasn't that bad. I just had to hunch over. But I'm very tall. Here's the fan, bathroom fan. Still need a door right here. Haven't done that yet. And then we used the original tracking for the shower curtain because we couldn't find anything that would make this turn. I still have to do a little bit of a bracket right there, but this is the vent stack. Everything flows down into that vent stack, and then there's the black tank right below us. Okay, so in this closet, this is our power closet. So this is our Growatt inverter and charge controller. To be honest, I don't love it. It's annoying. It does the job just fine, but it's annoying. The menus it's super, like it beeps and it just goes crazy, and then you turn off the beep, but then when it loses power, it resets, and it's frustrating to work with, but it does the job just fine. It's a 300 watt inverter, I think 6,000 watt peak. I'll have to double check that, but it does a great job. Everything can be powered off of that when we're off of shore power. And then we have these two big battery power cells. So these are 4.6 kilowatt hours each. I think they're 170 amp hours at 24 volts. So got two of those so that we can run the air conditioner and everything else. And then this is our switch from shore to off to generator power. Got a vacuum, our extinguisher, and then here's our sub panel. So a lot more power coming through here than there was before. That's for sure. I still have to clean this up. I don't know what we're going to put up here, honestly. We have extra storage. And then this is the charging cables from the solar panels. They go in and they feed in the bottom. Okay, so let's close that up. Here's what we're calling the mid-kitchen. We have so we don't have an oven in here. We actually don't have a burner. There's no stove. There's no oven. So what do? We got this Ninja rotating, pivots up toaster oven. We actually use it in our house, and it goes right there, fits perfectly, and we don't need it. We can move it out of the way. Takes up a lot less space, and we can move it use it in the house and out here. So that's nice. You got a microwave up there. And then our stove, I'm not sure if we have it in here. We may have brought it inside. Let me check. Stove is, this is what our stove is. Induction. So we've got an induction burner, and we might upgrade to a double burner, but the nice thing about this is that we can cook here, we can cook there, we can cook there, or we can cook outside. I did burgers the other day outside on the induction. Don't have to worry about gas, don't have to worry about anything. We've got power out the wazoo, so that's why we've got an induction burner. It makes a lot of sense. And then everything else just turns into counter space. And we could have put it in one place and it would have been counter space and flush, but we would have lost a drawer and we wouldn't have been able to use it anywhere. So that's why we did that. Nice big Ikea sink. Here's our water filter. Oop, fingers blocking the camera. Here's our water filter, so we can drink filtered water. Let's see, storage underneath this sink is here's our trash. There's the water filter. Like I said, triple filter action. Aquasana. There you go. And all of these have soft close. There's some more of those. Like I said, to keep the doors closed. Moving along, got our residential fridge. This is AC fridge and freezer. Got some beer. Nashville Black Abbey beer. It's good stuff. And Pabst is for my neighbor, so I'm not going to drink that. Pantry-ish space up there. Not really sure what we're going to use it for. Again, we pack light and we don't need a lot of space. Under here, we're going to put like dog food and stuff like that. And it will be a door of this material. We'll put it across there with some hinges. Also need a door up there. Okay. Moving on back. This is the master bed. It is about a twin XL, but it matches the curve. So we found this free mattress on Facebook Marketplace. It's a queen, and we cut it down to size using a kitchen knife. It was really one of those electric kitchen knives, and it was really pretty easy. But it's quite a bit of space, all things considered. Okay, it's tight for two people, but it's better than what it would have been there. And then here's our headboard, and behind the headboard, we have our PEX plumbing, and then we've got a power, a charger, and then here's a vent from the front. I'll show you where that works in a second. But this is on some hinges. And we can store things back there. More storage up here. And then we've got our lights, which are really actually pretty handy. All right. Fiberglass wall. And there's the window. The back window, we used Velcro. Joy had this idea, or my wife had this idea for Velcro. So if you look in here, it's a really tricky window. So we just put Velcro on the top there. And then she cut it to size and it works really well. Because there's no way we would have found a blind that went down and then we've had to, because of the curve. I'm not sure if you can see the curve. But it really would have been a pain. So Velcro is great. And then everything else is roller blinds. Now here's the bunks for the kids. So we have our oldest is up here. He's got his own bunk. Built all these. And then they've got space for clothes up here. A light right there. This is a battery powered light. And then our youngest, he's 2. So we built this crib enclosure. We found this crib enclosure and it fits perfectly. So it's on these 2 sliders and we just screwed it in right here. And then when we need the mount, we slide it up. And then when it's bedtime, we just slide it down. And there you go. It's perfect. It's like we put it in and we're just shocked at how well it fit and how well it works. So, yeah. A little storage under here. Still trying to figure out what to put in there. But for now, it's just this bin. We'll put on some sliders. Let me pause you for a second. I'm going to show what's under here. Okay, I was going to open this up on the top. We have these panels that open up, but I have to move the mattress, and it was just this unnecessary thing. So we've got these lights on the bottom. I just slid them in here. They're not permanent. And there is our plumbing set up. This is a PEX manifold. Makes things pretty easy. This is where the door water comes in. Filter comes up, dog legs into the side of the manifold, the cold water side of the manifold. And this, if I flip it, it starts filling up the freshwater tank. And then this is a switch for the pump. So for the water pump. And then we've got our hot water over there. This gauge is just because I was testing the system and I haven't taken it off yet. But the nice thing about this is that everything is independent. So what's called a home run is where every sink has its own outlet. I can just turn them on and off right here if there's a leak, which there was the other day. And so I just came back here and quickly turned it. And that's actually on, but there, that's off. So I did the math, and this was cheaper. Getting this PEX manifold, I think it was from supplyhouse.com, was actually cheaper than buying all of the individual elbows and T's and valves. So I think it was considerably cheaper than buying everything, and plus it looks better, it's way more convenient, and yeah, I'm a big fan. Here is our Bosch water heater. It's tied in. Turned all the way up, it seems to be working okay, but right now it's off, obviously. And then we've got our freshwater tank right there. And this is a vent that is coming from the front. I don't know if anybody cares about this, but this is a fan. So what we're doing is we're circulating air. We're pulling air from the front of the cab where the air conditioning unit is, up there. And we're pulling it all the way around the bottom here, up. And this fan is pulling it so that it equalizes the temperature in the front and the back. And then I don't know if you can see it, but back there, use one of those dryer stacks to make that corner for the vent. This is not interesting to anyone but me. And then back here is our pressurizer for our pressure for keeping the tanks pressurized when we're on moondocking off of the water tank. And then here's our water pump. Not super accessible, but not terrible. So there we go. And then here's insulation. The whole thing was re-insulated with Thinsulate. Okay. So the question is, was all of this worth it? I don't know. It was a lot of work. It took a lot longer than what I thought. But I just kept adding to the complexity of the project. It was expensive, it was time consuming, and it was really one of those things that I'm not sure if I can properly explain how much work it is to do a project like this. I can't really put it into words. Yeah, this is cool, right here. This is great. Like, I'm driving down the road, it's really not that hard to handle. I'm not looking at the camera at all, don't worry. I'm just monologuing a bit. I'm not sure if you can hear the audio all that well, but I mean, this is really cool to see the RV and to be in here, and it's just an unbelievable feeling to have accomplished all of this, but at the same time, it's also, it was a lot. So we've done one camping trip so far. It was just a test trip to make sure that everything was working properly, and it went well, surprisingly well. One thing, the door broke a little bit, but that wasn't that big of a deal. And yeah, maybe I'm giving people right now the dreams of wanting this someday. Say, oh, I want that. It's really cool. Because I was there 2.5 years ago. And I would say there is a reason that these old campers are old. There's a lot of really difficult things to find. You've got to do things from complete scratch. You've got to be coming up with your own solutions. You've got to be able to have the time to put into it. And what I would say is, don't do this in your driveway. I did it in my driveway, and that was a lot. I wouldn't do that again. If you're thinking about doing this with any kind of old RV, just know what you're getting into. It took a lot for us to finish this project, and it's still not done. So anyway, feels good to be driving it, but it took a lot to get to this point.